Hello, young lovers, wherever you are. I hope your troubles are few. All my good wishes go with you tonight. I've been in love with you. Be brave, young lovers, and follow your star. Be brave and faithful and true. Cling very close to each other tonight. We got a love for you. Boop, doop, doop. Yeah. Welcome.
That's a bit of jazz speak, because
I made it up.
you made up some of the words. It's okay, because you're a cutie pie.
All right, yeah. She's my sweetie pie. Anyway, welcome everybody. This is Dr. Willie Jolly and
this is D. Taylor Jolly.
And we want to welcome you to Happily Married Mondays.
With the Jollies.
With the Jollies. For those who are just joining us or watching this on a replay or saying, who are those folks? We're getting really a great response from people who are sharing it, and I'm grateful for that. We're the authors of the book, Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last. And we ask you to do a couple things. Well, first of all, we tell you we've been married for how long?
Going on 36 years.
36 years. Dated her for 4 years before we got married. I was a pup. I was a pup.
Can you say something else other than you were a pup?
I was a child.
You know, I could come back with, you might have been a child.
Don't.
Keep it clean.
Keep it clean. So anyway, we're the authors of the book, Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last, 10 Secrets to Shape a Great Marriage. And we started this show to try and help people stay married and enhance
to stay happily married.
Happily
to enjoy each other. And for those who agree that it's better together. We think it's better together.
We believe it's better together.
We'd like to share that. Yeah. Because married couples, happily married couples, tend to live longer. And actually men live longer, because the statistics says that women live 48 years longer than men, right? Mm-hmm. So by marrying the right person who enhances your life, who makes sure you do all those healthy things, perspective, outlook, the health, the exercise, the male increases his longevity.
So I want you to do a couple things as we get started today, as we ask every week, is that you would like it, share it, and start a watch party. Start a watch party right now, particularly those on Facebook Live. And those on Instagram, just send up lots of waves and hearts and all sorts of stuff. But we want to get the algorithms all over the world moving and growing and saying, we got to turn on that show with the Jollies.
What's the topic?
Start a watch party, like it and share it. We appreciate that. Greetings to everybody, wherever you may be. We are excited. It's time for comeback. A setback set up for a comeback. And I decided after all of the challenges, it's time for a comeback. So
that's going to be our ongoing theme, some kind of way into 2021.
It's comeback time. It's time for a comeback.
You have to make it come back.
Time
whatever
to make
our
it come back.
Is.
That's right. So
make it come back.
Let's talk about our topic tonight. We want to talk about a topic that's been trending. We saw it trending, and we said, "Whoa, we better jump on that trend." While we've been figuring.
It was on ABC today. It was actually on ABC.
Yeah, it was on a couple stations.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so they talked about the question: should your spouse be your best friend? Should your spouse be your best friend? And if not, what are you missing in the process?
You added that part.
It
was an open-ended question. Should your spouse, your partner, we say spouse because we're married,
right,
be your best friend?
And so we decided to jump in on that because that's one of the topics in the book. By the way, let me make this announcement right now. Today is Cyber Monday, and
our sale's still going on.
I think our sale is still going on. Half price on everything. Or you get some goodie. So
physical or digital?
Both. You get a goodie. You get it's a deal.
Okay.
So go to jollymarriage.com and get the book and get it signed and get it for a deal.
So the question is, should your spouse be your best friend? That's how they worded it, and that's how it's trending. And it was interesting, some of the responses. Now, we say yes, your spouse should be your best friend, but I thought it was very important to listen at some of the comments and the conversations as to why that might not be the case.
Oh.
So I think to look at,
well, why don't we talk about that, and then we talk about how we perceive it.
Yes. And it to look at why some others might think that should not be the case, and then we can hold up what we believe to be true and see how it fares. So it's kind of like having a debate. Okay.
Right.
So I looked up some related articles, and particularly people who have written articles like for Cosmopolitan magazine, something in Psychology Today, and they all kind of focus on really 3 areas as to why your spouse should not be your best friend. Do you want to take a guess as to what one reason might be?
I have no idea.
So then I'm like, I looked at each one, I thought, how does that fit me? Nah, that doesn't work. For number 1, it simply says you don't want your spouse to be your best friend because it makes the expectations too much for one person. Have you ever thought about it like that?
No.
Okay, so your spouse shouldn't be your best friend because it puts too much pressure on them to be everything to you. I thought about that. I thought, that doesn't work for me.
That doesn't work for me either. Because what would be if it were just a person, wouldn't I have some expectations for them as well? And they're not my spouse, and they're not with me all the time, and I can't share the most intimate part of my life with them. I got friends who I share stuff that's very intimate and talk about, but who gonna check? When you got a mole on the back of your neck, who gonna?
Me.
She gonna do it. So we the things that no one else can communicate. We can't communicate the things. So I don't go with that one.
Right.
What's the next?
So they're saying is you're putting too much pressure on that person to be everything to you. That's basically what they're saying. I don't agree with that because I think because you know me so well, because I have allowed you into my space and to share my ups and downs and my weaknesses and things that I'm afraid of, that you understand me, so I don't have to explain every little detail all the time.
Yeah.
And that you can be empathetic.
Yes.
Because you get me. Okay.
I get you. You get me.
So that's one that's off the table.
That's right.
Next one is you simply need to have girlfriends. I was like, Let me think about that.
Well, now this one we have to. You go ahead.
Okay. In this article, it talks about what if you just want to have a girls' day with your besties? That's what they're called. And you want to eat pizza and you want to be in sweatpants. Of course, you can't relate to that because you're not a girl. Okay. So who are you going to vent to? They say, who are you going to vent to about your spouse or about your partner when you're pissed off with them? Well, I can't relate to that because I never really had any close girlfriends, anything growing up, because I'm an introvert.
So that way I was going to go. You.
I know. I'm perfectly happy with the books, saying hello, being kind and thoughtful, but I don't need to chit-chat because that's not part of who I am at my core. And if I am pissed off with you, I don't want to tell anybody else. I want to tell you.
Right. That's the thing that gets me. So, first of all,
what good does it do to tell somebody else if you're not telling your
problem. Here's the problem. 2 problems come to mind. 1, people who complain about their mate to a friend, and the friend gets pissed off with the mate as well. Okay, well, I'm mad at the mate for you mad at the mate. Here's the problem. You go back home to your mate, y'all work it out, it's all good. The friend's still pissed off. Then the mate didn't have the opportunity so now the friend is always got a side eye, to the mate. And you saying, why you don't like my husband or my wife or my, then there's all sorts of drama. Now, the second thing is this. Years ago we'd hear, guys, a guy's night out, and the women had a night out. And we made a decision early on in our marriage. I don't need no guys' night out.
I don't need to go.
I would have maybe tennis. But we used to have a tennis night. But I'd come back.
You have a tennis day. You play tennis in the
afternoon. And so I never felt there was a need to have a guys' night out. Now, maybe some guys do. Y'all can respond to that.
To jump in. Do you need to have?
Do you need that? We've never had it. Let's see some of the comments.
You know what? I think it comes down to your personality.
Let's see some of the comments.
Because I'm not a chatty Cathy, and I don't need lots of people. So you fit neatly into my space.
Yeah, let's look at Olympia. Says she married her best friend 31 years ago.
Aww.
And we was there, all right, and so we know that's true.
And our son was the ring bearer.
That's right. Isn't that something? Now he's 35. Terrence Gray said there's something very uniquely special about friendship. Even Jesus called us his friend. Yes, your spouse should be your very best friend because of marriage. We may not make it. Now, I don't know about that one, Terrence. I don't know. We're going with you. Got something. You got more to that story than you. He said that's worldly wisdom about us expecting. Praise the Lord, family, brother William Covington. Friendship is important to God. That's right. Hello, Dewad Sanders. And that's why I have a therapist. I don't need to place any trash on my friends. Good point.
Oh.
Good point. Bravo.
Okay, repeat that.
He said, Terrence said, that's why I have a therapist. I don't need to place any trash on my friends. Man, that is wisdom. That's godly, boy. That's good. That is good. In fact, I was going to bring up therapy today because there was a piece on television. I told Dee about it the other day. Is that America needs a therapist right now. And they were talking to people who politically were different, maybe over Thanksgiving, who had conversation with their family members. And what happens when people are so adamant about their position against the other person? And so they went out in New York City, around the country, but one lady was definitely a New Yorker. And they said, what do you think about the election? And she went right in on the Republicans. And he said, well, here's the rules. Let me say before you say that, you cannot talk about the other side. You got to talk about your side. What can you do on your side? And it was so hard for people. And then they went to another part of the country, and from Trump people and Republicans, well, those Democrats said, no, you can't talk about other people. And what the lesson was that when you're in therapy, a good therapist will say, well, I'm mad at my wife for this. No, what did she did? She does it. No, what can you do to fix your part of the relationship?
Because the only thing that you can
control
impact is yourself.
All right, let's see. We got a couple folks here that Sandy Williams is hard when they continuously cheat. They need therapy, and you need therapy on how you do it. There's a book called
Have I read it?
No, Pastor Jenkins recommends it. It's called the Rebuilder's Guide. The Rebuilder's Guide. That you might want to get. Okay.
I don't know who it's by.
I agree to therapy. Yes, a rebuilder. I got an eye doctor, ear doctor, a general doctor, a chiropractor, and a therapist. Amen. And you get the marriage doctors on Monday night with the Jollies. Thank you, Terrence. Thank you. Thank you so much. So what we want to say to married people is that I think Terrence was right on. Don't spill all your issues with your mate, with your friends, because that way the friends can't release that.
Don't tell all of your issues
to your
that
friends.
You have with your mate to your friends.
So, well, we've never done that, though. We have never confided outside of our marriage with anybody that I know of. Okay, I'm not. All I talk about.
Who am I going to tell?
Right, we work it out within ourselves. We work it out, and
because I want to talk to you.
Now we've had counseling
Yes.
And
I do believe in counseling. Yes.
Yeah, we had counseling.
Have gone to counseling,
but that was family counseling.
And we needed that
because
the
bad.
blending of the family, or not being able to blend the family adversely impacted our marriage, our relationship.
And you talk about drama in a family.
Yes.
So we know and believe in therapy and counseling. All right, next one.
Okay, it says, this article says it takes some pressure off of your partner when you have somebody other than your partner who's your best friend. Okay, being a girl's best friend can be a lot of work. This is an example they gave. We need help picking out an outfit, figuring out what picture to post, what filter to use on the phone. I was like, I couldn't even relate to any of that.
No.
That speaks to a level of immaturity.
Now
so I'm thinking, so I had like 3 different articles that I read from, and 2 of them were people who were not married, and they did say that. So if you're not married, I don't think that you're in a position to even do research, because your research is going to be skewed to how you think for why you're not married.
Never ever get counsel on marriage issues from somebody who's either not married or divorced. Don't do it, because their
filters are very different. How they see the world is just really very different.
That's right. So we recommend highly you don't do that. Let's see.
Okay, now this one who is saying this, to have your partner be your sole resource for friendship, support, and love is just too much. See, again, this is somebody's opinion. It is all opinion. What evidence are you going to use to support your position?
All right, you know what?
Wait a minute. And this person is a relationship therapist.
You know what? All therapists are not made alike. Okay, we know that. Okay, just like everybody's not the same in terms of their faith. So we know that God says that we could go to each other and we could sit down and talk to each other and we can work through our problems together. Now, we've been married for 36 years, and we don't share it outside our marriage. We work through it, we talk through it, we laugh through it, we come up with a solution. And those who we have met, who've been married 30, 40, 50, 60 years, gave us the same principles. 1, don't go to bed mad, fix it. Interesting point, by the way, I saw an interview the other day with Maury Povich and Connie Chung. Now, they've been married 30 years.
I was at they both worked at WTTG.
Yes. When you were there?
When I was there, that was actually my very first job when I came to D.C.
Wow. Well,
I was a receptionist.
Right. She started as a receptionist.
So I could have been an on-air person now?
Yes, that's why you're here now.
I'm sorry, that's an aside.
Anyway, he said that she's very odd. He said his parents were married 63 years there. Single advice to them was, fix your problem before you go to sleep. Don't carry today's problems into tomorrow. Connie Chung said, I have a problem with that. I've always had a problem with that because I want to fight it out till he wants to go to bed. And I said, no, we got to fix it. He'll go to sleep. So I hold it till the morning. He said but she lets him have it in the morning and they fix it.
Wait a minute.
He said
she wants to fix it then.
But he wants to go to sleep.
And he wants to go to sleep.
Because she goes to bed a lot later than him. He said, I go to bed early and I get up early. And he said, we have a slightly different time clock. So I go to bed. Now, that's the first time I've ever heard anybody talk about that in that sense. But what it made you realize was that some people have to make adjustments for their relationship, because he said, I go to bed early because I used to do morning TV.
Right.
And he said, my clock was that I get up really, really early. I get up, as she would do, afternoon and evening TV. Right. So she stays up late and she wants to argue. He said, I got to go to bed. I can't argue. But what we tell people.
So if you're all emotionally revved up, you then can't go to sleep anyway.
So that was the only time, but that was a unique situation. Every single couple says, work this out before you go to sleep. So we recommend that. Now, let me take a moment, because we want to tell people some of the wisdom that we got from people in the book. about this topic. Friends first. Chapter number 1. Our number 1 chapter is friends first.
Because that's what we believe.
Be or become friends first. Be or become. Now that's the interesting reason we put that subtitle, because some people get married. We talk about married people get married for all sorts of reasons, and they get married and then they're married and realize they're not best friends, and then they got a mess.
How do you realize that you're not somebody's that your spouse is not your best friend? I think that's a good question, issue. How do you realize?
Let me read.
How do you discover that?
I don't know. So we didn't figure that out. So Friedrich Nietzsche said, "It's not a lack of love, but a lack of friendship that makes unhappy marriages."
So let's go back to this. So you don't have anything in common. You don't like being around them.
That's part of it. They don't have anything in common because they got married. Well, let's talk about.
Don't call names.
I'm not calling a name. We went to dinner with the corporate exec who you had taught in your class.
Well,
why did he get married?
The spouse fit the bill as to what the corporation said would make a good spouse as he moved up the corporate ladder. And I think that's a reality in
they got married.
Part of corporate America. Yeah. Might be less so right now.
Yeah.
In the last, let's say, 5 or 10 years,
right, that
you need the spouse who can host the dinner parties and be articulate, having read the latest books and the like, and all of that. So now there is still the fight for more equality in terms of the professions, in terms of the education and the like. But that was a challenge. He married the person who had all of the right things, all of the right pedigree, but still not friends.
So I like what William Covington just said. He said, first and foremost, talk to each other first, and if necessary, mutually engage a therapist. Their objectivity will prove helpful. Now, the word that I like there, Brother Covington, is mutually engage. Because we got a lot of folks we've had conversation with where one party does not want to go to therapy, they don't want to go to counseling.
And then we say, you still need to go. You cannot make your spouse go.
That's right. You go by yourself.
But you can go and listen as they ask you questions, and you listen to the answers that you're providing. And it will prove of benefit to you in helping you to understand more of who you are.
And it goes back to that question we just talked about therapy. The therapist says, don't talk about what they did, what they're doing. Let's talk about what you can do better in this relationship. What can you do? Did you have any whatsoever input? Whether you were maybe, like the person said, somebody who constantly runs around on them, who's unfaithful. Well, maybe I'm not going to put a blame on that person, but maybe they didn't have that difficult conversation like my wife had with me early on in our marriage.
Well, we don't know why somebody runs around somebody else.
I'm saying the difficult conversation is, let me tell you something.
No, I didn't do that. I did not.
How did you do it? Tell me how you did it. So
I will use your own words. Be friendly, be frank, be fair, and look for a positive result on both ends.
So what did you tell me?
I'm friendly. I love you.
So what did you say?
I'm always going to be here for you. I am never going to divorce you. I have a certain lifestyle, and your income helps to provide that. And if you make the mistake of stepping beyond our marriage vows, I will hurt you. But not so that you can't work. And you can read between the lines. There you go. I don't look good at stripes, so no, murder is not on the table.
But there was a conversation about super glue.
That was a conversation about super glue too, yes.
If you can't keep it to yourself in here, we're going to make sure you keep it to yourself.
Once we had the open, honest conversation, and then we could talk about, just to say, for better or for worse, what does worse look like? And I think in many instances, we don't honestly want to talk about what does worse look like. What does worse look like? Oh, let me get the last one. Number 3 was they don't need to know everything. I had to think about that.
Mm.
I don't. My spouse should be my best friend because I don't want them to know everything. So I'm thinking, what wouldn't I want you to know? Are there some things that you don't want your spouse to know?
And the rest of this conversation is
that
you want to keep a relationship exciting and somewhat mysterious in order
so you don't tell them everything. So I'm like, are you talking about that you bought stuff and you're hiding that you got credit cards? So are you talking about I'm sick and I don't want to know I'm sick? So who do you go to if not to your spouse? And this advice came from
another sex.
Ian
you can't call it name.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Can't call it name.
A PhD and a sex and couples therapist in New York City. So, everybody, you have to do research.
Because everybody's not on the same page.
Yes.
Some of them are idiots. Some of them ain't married. Some of them been married 10 times. Like I say in my speeches. Like I say in my speeches. I say to the lady who wrote a book on marriage, being successfully married, and she's been married 5 times. I mean, she tell you what not to do and what all of that because she's been married.
But she marketed. That's why
she showed up.
She showed up and she marketed and got people's attention.
That's right.
Okay?
That's right. So what we're saying to everybody is
we are fortunate, we believe, to be spouses and best friends.
We are. We are grateful to Borley's best friends. You see one, you see the other. The Thomases, who we go with, best friends. Best friends. We talk about in chapter number 1, Jeffrey and Denise Hart. They were best friends in high school, went off to college, dated other people, didn't get married, but dated other people, and then ended up in the same city some years after college and reconnected and became best friends again, got married, have been happily married for almost 40 years, got 2 great daughters, just had their grandbaby, and they talk about we are best friends.
I think there is an appreciation.
Yeah, you appreciate your best friend.
There is an appreciation.
Now, hold on, we got to talk a little bit because our time is almost up. What happens if you're not best friends? It's impacting your love life. And let me tell you what we recommend you do. Befriend your
How is it impacting your love life?
Because
you're trying to say you're not getting any? That's all you ever think about anyway.
All I ever think about. Y'all know this is true. Let me make it clear. I have no qualms with talking about that. A brother got to get hooked up regular.
How not being best friends.
Well, here's what happens.
Or how being best friends can positively impact yourself.
Yeah, it positively impacts yourself. Because best friends tend to deal with problems more rapidly. Okay, how many of you got best friends? When you disagree, you don't hold it over, keep it going. You work through it. That's what best friends do. If they've been best friends for many years, they didn't always agree.
But if there's that friendship and also that love, you tend to lean in and you cling.
That's right. We cling to each other.
So you cling to each other, and it's easier to get intimate and have sexual satisfaction.
And it's not always the sex that creates the friendship. Is the friendship that creates the sex. Come on, somebody. Oh, somebody say that. Tweet that. It's not the sex that creates the friendship. It's the friendship that creates the sex. We got to go. Our time is up. I'm going to leave you on that high note. It's 30 minutes. Our time is up. I want you to go to jollymarriage.com. Get 2 copies of the book, one for you and one for your spouse. Now, y'all can read it.
Get it and give it away to
somebody. Christmas. Get it now for Christmas. Give them away as Christmas gifts. Highly recommend. We want to let you know we are going to still find the time. I had to cancel the marriage event because I had to speak at that funeral, but we're going to redo it. I won't do it in December because it's just too much going on. We'll do it in January, first of the year. Have a marriage something. Hi, we got to go. Jolly out.
Jolly out.
See y'all. God bless y'all.